Welcome to the show, Andrea. I want to just jump straight into the good stuff because we know that the UBC Thunderbirds claimed the national title over the Victoria Vikes. But the backstory here, the lore, as we say, is that the Thunderbirds struggled against the Vikes all season long. So it wasn't necessarily a surprise to see them down in the final minute of the game. But the plot twist of this whole thing is that they ended up pulling out the win to be named the national champions. Can you walk me through what went right for the T-Birds in the last 60 seconds?
Well, speaking of lore, the fact that they were home field advantage might give a little bit of mystere to it. I could hear the stands through the broadcast. They had a whole bunch of bananas and banging on their drums. UBC definitely had a good amount of that home field advantage. That was such an amazing game, back and forth. I never really knew anybody, which team was ever going to have it. It was always within a couple of points. Vic did a great job to come back, close that margin, get ahead in the last minutes of play. And they still had 3 minutes to maintain possession of the ball, and that's a really long time. One strategy that is often used is a lot of pick and goes in the forwards. We want to minimize the amount of handling errors. However, 4 minutes is a long time to be doing that. And UBC was able to get a turnover. And I think that's where the experience and expertise of some of our international players like Piper Logan, Charity Williams, and even Adia Pai. She's a little bit younger, but she does have that world-renowned experience. And basically, Piper just saw the gap on the outside, used her skills, her like wide sevens pass, moved that ball really quick, and UVic had a tough time covering that open space on the outside. It put UBC into the lead, up for the win, and it was a 2-point score. So it was an incredible finish. I have goosebumps talking about it right now, and I don't think there was any losers on that day. It was an incredible day for women's rugby.
We will get into Charity Williams in just a moment, but I want to turn the attention actually to yourself because it was a very short, minuscule, really, 20 years ago that you played in U Sports yourself. When you watch games like the ones that you watched this past weekend, what do you notice has changed the most since you played?
Right off the bat, even the fact that I can get onto a computer, be in Toronto and watching the games, my jaw just dropped. The quality of the production, the amount of opportunity there is, not just for players, but for coaches, for analysts, for production crews, to cut their teeth in the university sport environment. It just floored me. Like, YouTube wasn't a thing when I was going to university. I joke that we used to wear cotton shorts and cotton jerseys, and any rugby followers will understand how long ago we used to wear that, right? We would wear uniforms like that. So that was the first thing, just right off the get go, the production quality. But also seeing the match official teams, it's quite the production to be able to put on a national tournament and to fly out all the teams from across the country. And then even let's talk about the quality of play. I didn't learn how to pass a ball more than 10 meters until I was actually named to the national team. And now we have a national team who is World Cup silver medalists. They are setting the standard for rugby play throughout the nation, and this is what the U Sports athletes are striving towards. It's in an incredible place right now, and I know with the amount of interest and the amount of people investing their time into either developing the sport or developing themselves, the rugby scene is just going to continue to grow in Canada.
What's amazing to me is the fact that we're seeing national team athletes, current ones, still playing in U Sports like we are with Charity Williams, which we just mentioned. She plays for the UBC Thunderbirds and she won the tournament MVP, which is remarkable in and of itself. But in your perspective, what set her apart and who are some of the other standout stars that you see out there?
Oh gosh, every single team had a star. I had at least one or two stars. And one thing that I love, like, yes, Charity Williams, she is an Olympian and she is a World Cup sevens player. She's been training in that environment on a day-to-day basis for many of years. I do want to touch on the fact that when I was coming through the ranks, like all of us athletes, we went to school first.
Mm-hmm.
And then we continued our rugby careers. And that is getting shifted right now with the Olympic funding, right? So athletes can pursue these rugby dreams, and I love that they have those doors open and they have those opportunities to go and get and continue playing rugby, but also get an post-secondary education, while when as they're retiring. It just opens up the doors for them. So Charity Williams, like her work rate is what really stood out for me. She was just always into tackles, repeat tackles, but back on her feet and engaged in the game. Kiki Dawood with UBC Thunderbirds was another name that was being repeatedly called, and she has not played at a senior national level. She's up and coming right now, and I'm sure we'll see much more of her. There's so many talented athletes at the youth sports level right now. It's really, really exciting to watch.
I want to switch gears here just for a moment and focus on the bronze medal game. Guelph only lost to Queens by 2 points. I know, as a former athlete myself, like that stings. That one hurts. Do you think that the better team in this case truly won, or do you think the time just expired and it just so happened to be that, hey, Queens was up at the moment?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the latter. I don't know that the better team won. I think both teams were incredibly evenly matched. I think Guelph is probably feeling incredibly gutted, like you said. Oh, so close. But when you look at the comeback that they had off of their OUA loss to Queens, and Queens just totally smashed them. I think Guelph has a lot to be proud of. I thought they had their tactics on the day, their skill execution on the day was incredible. And let's talk about a 2-point loss. That's a kick, right? That's a converted penalty. That's a converted try. And I think the time just ran out a little bit, and the Queens got away with it to this weekend.
Yeah, that's a stinger, and I get it. I 100% get it. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor.